Welcome everybody to the Chinchilla Pickin' Podcast. It is March the 30th, 2025 at 3:28 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I'm joined by the one and only, the Baron of Bonds himself, Brandon Beaver.
Oh, look at that. You stuck the opening this time.
You know what? Yeah, that caught me by surprise. So I never, if you're listening right now, I never listen to our show, right? That's just something I don't do. I don't know why I choose not to listen. I just don't. So at work, some of the guys started playing our podcast, and I realized that
You're not
Brandon kept
you're not missing anything.
right. I'm here for it. I know what we said. Uh, and I realized that Brandon kept in our mess up of our beginning part of our podcast in instead of editing out. And I was like, nice. No idea you did that, Brandon, but hey, sure.
Yeah,
You know, and I realized we talked about fluff for like 15 minutes too before we even got into it.
well, we survived opening day. We've got terrible weather happening tonight. My car was frozen over on Monday, Dave, in the morning when I went to work. I had to force
Frozen's a
my driver's
stretch.
I no, it's not. I had to force my driver's side door open at 7 o'clock in the morning because it was frozen. Yesterday it was 78 degrees. Tonight we got a warning of tornadoes. Why do we live here?
Because it's Ohio.
Other than
I don't
opening
know.
day.
Opening day is great. I have Reds tickets tomorrow night. So if you're going to a Reds game, you're listening right now, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's go have fun. I don't know why we live here, man. I moved here because my wife was from here and all of her family's from here. And then we got divorced and I became a single parent and I was stuck here.
And you came from you were in San Diego for
I
a
know.
little.
I was in
You
San
were seeing
Diego
the
at that
best
time.
weather ever. And granted, the state of California is absolutely terrible. I mean, it is
There's a lot
taxes.
of great things in California, but taxes and some of the property and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I
Isn't
agree.
it like 75 degrees year round in San Diego?
It is the easiest job in the world is a weatherman in San Diego.
Yeah, you get 75 degrees year round. There's no tornadoes, no hurricanes.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
rains like 9 times a year.
I gotta go. I gotta live there. Or Arizona. Arizona. I've been talking about this because
But Arizona doesn't have the beach; it doesn't have the water, bro.
I mean, but there's sand.
The whole state is sand.
You do an in-ground pool, probably.
Oh
Bam,
man,
there's a beach, and you don't have to cut grass.
there you go. There you go. I like grass. I like it here. I like the seasons. I like the seasonality. I don't mind the tornadoes. It's fine. Um, yeah. So I
You don't
after
mind the
listening,
tornadoes until they're bearing down your house and blowing your roof off and flipping your car over.
your car was first of all, your car was not frozen. It wasn't that cold.
It was
Let's not
frozen. It
exaggerate.
absolutely
Let's
was
just no,
frozen.
it was not.
And I had to use all
Stop
my
it.
windshield wiper fluid almost to get the windshield cleared.
Well, that's just going to get worse with pollen and the bugs, anyways, happening, dropping in. So there you go. You have that.
Oh, you
Um,
can't wait for all the asthma attacks
well, you need to get out and run more, get your lungs healthy. So
and all the pollen.
yes, all the pollen. I love it. I love it. I tell you what, man. There was some news. There was some news this past week. A lot of news. A lot of it was there's. It's hard right now in this current environment we're living in to look at financials and stocks, investments, and everything, and not have it be political. Everything right now is seems to be political in one way, shape, or form. And I'm like, I'm just trying to make money investing. Why do we have to bring politics into whatever company I'm looking at?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that all the studies that I've used are objective.
Oh, yeah,
What we're
yeah.
going to talk about. I mean, they are. They're objective. There's no politics involved in them.
Yeah, you know what? And you would think there's no politics involved in like when I cover Novo Nordisk, which I'm gonna talk about here later on. But like, it's a pharmaceutical company, and they do things to make us live healthier. And the drugs I talk about are to make us healthier and happier, and yet political. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Is it because of the pharmaceutical tariffs? They're
You
coming
know
up.
what? Rules, rules, rules. Brandon and I get together 5 to 10 minutes before the show, and we tell each other what we're going to talk about. You hear the actual live back and forth, our heavy discussion. Brandon really wants to get into it because he wants to disagree with me about something. I don't know. I think he just want to disagree with me about everything right now. And I want to bring up your past and what you've said for 20 years since I've known you, and then how you've changed in the last 6 months. But I'm not going to.
I haven't changed.
You have.
No, I haven't.
You your aesthetic has at least. I'm joking. I'm
The
joking.
problem is, the problem is,
What's the problem? Go ahead. You
talk to
take the show.
me.
I
Talk
did
to
the
me.
introduction. Go ahead.
I'm an average guy from Cincinnati that has been on a Leonard Skinner kick for like 6 months
Yeah,
now,
you
and
look
it's
like
good
you're
to
from
see
the
it.
south of Mississippi right now, man.
You can't help it when you have family from the South and you listen to Leonard Skinner. Your hair just goes long. Then you get a trucker cap and you grow a goatee. I can't help it.
Dude, I mean, you're only about another 3 to 4 months away from talking Cajun. So let's just call what it is here, man. You be like that defensive coach in the Water Boy.
Are we ready to go yet? You want me to get into my
Yeah,
subject?
go, start,
All
please.
right. All right. Let's get her done.
Get her done.
All right. So, according to the University of Michigan's monthly survey, and let me just preface this by saying I want to start talking about where we're at in the market cycle, give you a market cycle update because I've been pretty good at doing that over the past, few years that we're doing this podcast. I want everybody to go read what works on Wall Street and the market. I think there's a market cycle book that I mentioned. I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyways, go read those two books. I'll get you the name of the book before the end of the podcast. University of Michigan's monthly survey said that consumers took a gloomier view of the economy in March. The index came in at 57 this month, the lowest level since 2022, a marked decline from 64.7 in February and 79.4 a year ago. Two-thirds of consumers, Dave, said they expect higher employment in the next year, the highest reading since 2009. So
You mean higher
two-thirds
unemployment or higher employment?
unemployment.
Okay, continue and let me know when you want me to rebuttal.
Okay. Never. Just accept that I'm right.
Well, we'll see. I'll wait for you to finish. Go
Two,
ahead.
two-thirds expect higher unemployment. Now, that's not happening right now, but the expectations could lead to that. The expectations could lead to it because people stop spending, right? So the money entering into the economy, people spending and stuff like that, that stops, and can be a problem for the economy. But earlier this week, another survey by the Conference Board, a business research group, painted a similar picture. They said that the economic sentiment index fell modestly in March, but the forward looking component plummeted to the lowest level in 12 years, falling well past a threshold that they say typically previews a recession. Nearly now, President Trump, on top of all this, we got new tariffs. Trump on March 26 said that he would impose 25% tariffs on global automotive imports to the United States. They will cover finished automobiles and automotive parts and are set to go into effect April 3rd. Nearly half of new passenger vehicles sold in the United States in 2024 were assembled outside the United States. Not good for the automotive industry. On March 3rd, Trump hiked tariffs on Chinese goods by an additional 10%. China then retaliated with tariffs that took effect on March 10th, including 15% on chicken, wheat, corn, cotton, soybean, pork, beef, natural gas, a 10% on crude oil, agricultural machinery, excuse me, and other products, which all took effect on February 10th. We're knee deep in this trade war now, and I can't talk because of my freaking headache. But we're knee deep in this trade war now. Things are getting worse than when we first started talking about them, not better. What?
I mean, you're making like 20 points before I even get to talk. Can I make a couple counterpoints here?
Sure. Go
All
ahead.
right, let me start with consumer sentiment. Ugh. So consumer sentiment. Look, when the whole election from both parties, both, not just one side, both were saying how they would change the economy because the economy was getting worse, and a majority of all Americans believed the economy was getting worse. And for month after month after month, you saw advertisements from both sides saying how they would help the economy and the economy would get better, and it was just put everywhere: radio, newspaper, ads, wherever, TV, social media, everywhere had, hey, the economy is horrible, but here's what I'm going to do to help. Election happened. Boom. You thought it would end, right? No. Right on TV, right on cue, every single talking head across all media. Economy's going to get worse. Economy's going to get. You have this for months and months and months, all the way into January, February, where now all of a sudden you start doing polls and surveys, and everybody's talking about consumer sentiment. The consumers believe that the economy is getting worse and the economy's going to be bad, and then now all of a sudden the consumer sentiment has dropped so much that they're saying, oh, this is now recession levels of consumer sentiment. Here's my counter theory. Hear me out. When you tell a whole bunch of people for months and months and months that the economy is horrible, and then they finally start saying, "Hey, the economy is horrible," and then you're like, "Oh, see, they think the economy is horrible." Well, they think the economy is horrible because you told them that the economy was horrible, not because the actual economy is horrible. That made those individuals go ahead and put away money into savings instead of spending it. That made certain individuals go ahead and look to invest and do other things for their money instead of spending it. So that made the stores have less money coming in, less revenue. So that it's a self fulfilling
Oh no,
prophecy,
I think
and it's not
honestly,
reality, and it's not reality. And the people's incomes are doing just fine. We all expected a higher level of unemployment because unemployment down at 2% was not historically what the United States has done. Historically, the United States, which has always been a very strong economy, has always been around between 5% unemployment, and we're still not even
between
there
4 and 5.
yet. We're not even there yet. So it's this fact that people are blowing up over a 4 point something unemployment. I just laugh at them because they don't look at history. They don't understand economics. They have not read the books that we have read. I could battle them any day on a battle of wits when it comes to economics and prove them wrong every day of the week. So I don't want to hear it about a 4 point some odd percent unemployment rate. I believe that the economy is strong. I don't see what I said last week, and I stand by it this week. I'm not seeing it in student defaults. I'm not seeing it in credit card
Yeah,
defaults,
you
and
are.
I'm not
Yeah,
seeing it
you
in
are.
housing
I
defaults.
brought it up last week. I brought up the credit card defaults. I saw it last week. I brought it up last week in the credit card
I
default.
just listened to our podcast just the other day, and it was not proven. I asked for data, and I asked for
I
where'd you
gave
see
you
this? Where'd
data.
you see that? Did you?
2024, yeah, for the year
Oh yeah,
2024.
yeah, yeah. But I wanted to see for what it was now because I disagreed with it.
I'm sure it's
Now,
changed
right now,
dramatically in 3 months.
because yes, because in December of 2023 I covered the Apple IPO of its credit card. Goldman Sachs is backing it, and then in January of 2024 on this podcast I covered how Goldman Sachs was pulling from that deal because the subprime credit card from Apple was not succeeding. It was losing money, and that there was other subprime credit cards that were also losing money at the exact same time, and that was something I was keeping a close eye on. Then, fast forward 3 or 4 months later on this podcast, I said that they were doing just fine. They had recovered, and those default rates were actually going down. And that's why I want to see
I,
2025 numbers.
people and their sentiment is lower because they're seeing the effects of tariffs, their own businesses and their own jobs, and they feel it coming down the line. And the inflation is still going higher. We were still at 2.5, 2.6%
It
inflation.
moved point 0.1 higher.
Yeah, it was a boring report, but it didn't go down.
Wait, hold up.
It didn't move zero point 0.1, it moved zero point 0.4, but that's excluding food and energy. 0.4%.
Listen, this is the hypocrisy of the media. when inflation was on its way down, if it went down by 0.1%, oh, inflation's going down. Headlines read across the world, it was greatest thing ever. Jump back up by 0.3%. Oh, it's just muted. It goes up and down. It's not a big deal. It's only 0.3%. Now, 2025, and inflation goes up by what, zero point 0.1, zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3, doesn't matter, small amount. Oh, it's just the end of the world, and this is just, hey, we gotta, go buy milk and eggs and go to Homestead because World War III is coming. No, this, come on, let's snap back to reality here. Let's look
President
at it for
Trump
what it is. Look at it for what it is.
Trump's tariffs this month were implemented on steel and aluminum imports again, on top of what we already had. And this time it included a larger range of imports, including screws, nails, and bolts that serve as connective tissue in manufacturing, for example.
Yep.
They're in almost everything. Um, Unlike the similar, okay, so that has met, it set off a hunt to find domestic supplies for a lot of companies. For some of the manufacturing smallest components, tariffs on imported steel, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Tariffs on imported steel and aluminum are already driving up costs of foreign and domestic metal used in those components. Manufacturing executives in the United States said that the U.S. does not have the plants to churn out the amount of steel or screws and other fasteners needed to displace these imports. The production capacity that we need does not exist, said Gene Simpson, president of Illinois-based fastener maker Simplex. It's a select group of suppliers. So this isn't going to be bing, bang, boom, Dave. It's not. And
I
we're
like
raising
that. I
prices
like
on
that.
everything. Raising prices on everything. Um, and then talking.
Yeah, but you mentioned corn. I'm sure Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas would love it if you bought more American corn.
Well, they also
I
have the
have
problem.
family in Iowa, and they own quite a large amount of acres of farmland, and they would love it if you bought more American
Yeah,
corn.
I'd not love it if the rest of the globe stopped buying American corn, especially into Mexico and Canada. That's a problem. You can't
I,
be free market. You can't be a free market person and be pro tariffs. It is not a
Well,
free market way to
look.
go.
Yeah, it's still free market.
No,
You're
it's not.
allowed to buy and sell. The free market means, in my definition, you buy and sell at will. You just have to pay the price to go into whatever country because it's not free market for us.
Oh,
Is it free market for me to go ahead, create a company in the United States and sell to Germany? No, I got to pay the 60-80% tariffs. Why
oh,
is it okay for them to do that, but not me, but not the U.S.?
okay. Well, North Korea is communist. Let's just be communists then. Why is it okay for you to be communists? Let's all be communists.
Keep this stock and investment news because we're going on a tangent here.
So they also did an interview with some farmers, and this guy named Decker Poland was talking about John Deere in Iowa. He said how Deere goes in this region is kind of how we all go. On top of preparing for tariffs, a slowing farm economy has reduced equipment purchases. Deere's announced layoffs, and its profit dropped 50% last quarter. So I mean, that's, it's not good. We're not going down a good route. Let's be the beacon of hope
So
in
hold
the
up. So we're not going down a good route. So are you selling investments right now?
no. No. So here's
Why
the
not?
thing.
Why
Well,
not? You're calling doom and gloom here. You're Mister. Hey, this is going to be a recession. This is going to be a bad movement. Why wouldn't you not sell your investments and buy it when it's cheaper?
because you could just save up. And over time, I'm not doom and gloom over the United States economy for the next 10 years, right? As
Why
an
not?
investor, I don't think this is going to last. And I think that eventually we're going to adjust. I think that we're going to have to reverse the policies of tariffs, just like we did the Smoot-Hawley tariffs of 1930, which most economists agree caused the Great Depression. We're
Because
going
it
to have
didn't
to
happen
reverse
on
it. It
October in 1928. Nothing happened then.
was 1929. That was the stock market crash of 1929.
Okay, but
Yeah.
nothing happened then. It all started in 1930, right?
Well, yeah, it was most of it. Yeah, we were going to have
Oh, backtrack.
it,
Go ahead.
it was probably going to be a very small recession because the business cycle still exists, but the Great Depression itself was caused by the Smoot-Hawley tariffs. Look it up, Dave.
Yes, the Smoot-Hawley tariffs were a horrible idea. I agree. Historically, I agree. Looking back, hindsight's 2020. Yes, bad idea. Um, and we had this discussion before on this show about historical economics and stock market movements and investments. And I said if you take out the early 1930s, if you remove that from the picture, because that was an anomaly, that was an anomaly. That doesn't happen too often in history. If you take that out and you look at the rest of the U.S. history and all the tariffs that happened before 1900, it was actually a very good booming economy.
Now, there were a lot of depressions then too. There were a lot of depressions prior to 1930. We did have a overall booming economy, but there was a lot of fits and starts
A
there.
lot of
The
recessions.
greatest,
There's always
greatest,
recessions. It's a business cycle.
the greatest growth came after World War II, in which we developed a more free trade ideology, especially the 1980s, especially under Ronald Reagan.
All right. So fast forward to today. What are you going to do with your investments? This is not a political show. We're going off on a tangent here.
So here's the deal, because we've already declined more than 10% on the S&P 500 and way more than that on the Nasdaq, right?
So we pass correction.
So
Okay.
right. So if you're not in investments right now, then you buy the S&P 500. Or if you want to do like us, if you want to do like us, I've got some stock picks for you if you don't have anything that you've invested. And you want to outlook, in my opinion, now you do stock trades and stuff like that, you could teach it differently, but for me, it's an outlook of 10 years or more. If you're already invested, you save your money. You don't sell anything as long as it was a good buy.
I think there's some good right now with such volatility and the headlines being what they are. The headlines are just whew, moving the markets every other day, every other which way. I think it's a great volatility for day trading if you know what you're doing.
Okay. Well,
And
for
it's
day
a
trading, it's a great,
that's
yeah,
a
absolutely. It's a huge
big
volatility.
preface. You have to really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I gave my a good friend of mine 2 weeks ago. He asked me for some stock tips. I gave him some stock tips. He made 7% in 1 week. Um, there's opportunities here if you have companies that you feel 100% confident, you understand in and out, you've watched them for years, you know how they move, to what headlines they move and what headlines they react to, then you can make some good money off some of these. Other than that, most of you listening right now, I would say just go if you're going to invest. Now's a good time to buy. The market's down. It may go lower. It may go lower after April 2nd tariffs take effect. It may go a little bit lower. So maybe put 20% of your available cash in right now. And then when it goes lower, put another 20% of your cash
Well,
in.
let
You
me
know,
let me go into this. Atlanta's Fed GDP now forecast is now negative for the first quarter. And this is a crazy,
forecasts, not actual forecasts.
well, yeah, for looking at the first quarter, this it's a crazy move in the past 9 days though, because it was positive saying GDP was going to come in at 2%. But now it's negative. And let's see. So the GDP now model estimate for real GDP growth, which is seasonally adjusted annual rate, in the first quarter of 2025 is now negative 2.8%. And that was as of March 28th. This takes into 13, this is 13 variables. This is durable goods, which is personal consumption expenditures, non-durable goods, which is personal consumption expenditures as well. So two personal consumption expenditures there. Services, non-residential structures, equipment, intellectual property products, residential investment, changes in private inventories, exports of goods and services, imports of goods and services. I'm sure those two are largely what's weighing on this right now. But federal defense spending, federal non-defense spending, state and local government spending. Um, and then what's also interesting too, what I was looking at, the
So federal
CFRA.
spending's going down, imports are going down, and so that's affecting that number. But the actual GDP numbers we'll find out here in a few weeks.
Right.
Let's not jump the gun and rush it. But I mean, you're trying to guess what it is before it happens. And everybody's saying it's good, it's negative. Well, that's great for me because I don't think it's going to be negative. So you guys keep driving these markets down. I'm going to buy in here in a couple weeks, and I'm just going to have a great day.
We might have a really low bar for this and have a gap up the next day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's probably going to happen because that's what the media and everybody's pushing out there. Even the Fed, like you're quoting, a member of the Federal Reserve is even saying this. So now that it must be fact, everybody's believing it, and consumer sentiment's going to be pushing it. And then when it doesn't happen, I make money.
Yeah. So CFRA says this: the best way to respond to a sell-off is buying rather than bailing.
I
Now,
love
I
them.
say
They're my new heroes.
holding and saving is a good way to respond to the situation that we're in right now because a lot of these reports and stuff that are coming out are pointing me to think that we are late market cycle, that we are still positive growth right now, but the growth is slowed. It's slowed. Um, and I don't think that a recession is necessarily right around the corner, but 6 months to a year.
Maybe, maybe the indicators I look at, I haven't seen it. Now I don't go by. I quit going by polls and surveys,
I
and
just
it's
gave you all the indicators, Dave. I just gave you all the indicators. You won't listen to me. You don't even try blueberry coffee.
yeah, yeah. You gave me your indicators.
Iced blueberry coffee would change your life.
It will not. First of all, don't get me wrong. I love Dunkin', but no, I'm not doing it. Look, I still, I don't see it, but yes, I'm not saying it won't happen. It could, but I would like to see what I'm looking for first happen.
Dallas Cowboys are still going to suck this year.
Brandon, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Let's get through this podcast. Financial stock investment podcast. It's not a Cowboys podcast. Sorry. Um, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So,
Okay. So here's the deal. I want to give you some stock picks now that I'm better.
wow, stock pick. Okay,
Yeah. Alphabet, number one.
love it. I own
Alphabet,
it.
substantial cash flows. They can invest. If there's a recession, they buy cheap. They can buy other businesses for cheap. They can invest for cheap with that substantial cash
Yep.
that they have. Alphabet, United Health.
Okay.
And the reason why I say United Health, they're a leading provider of Medicare Advantage in the United States. We got shifting demographics here in the US. We're aging population. They're going to be a big benefactor of that.
Gotcha.
GE Vernova, we've talked about them a
Yeah,
thousand times.
I own GE Vernova. Very happy with it.
Electrification, decarbonization of the United States are going to be a
Nuclear power plants. Yep.
Nvidia, big
I
sell-off.
don't own that, but I like it.
PepsiCo.
I don't own that, and I don't like it.
PepsiCo. Here's the reason why I say PepsiCo because they've got a very, very, very strong um, supply chain that can beat back the tariffs. So they can be one of the most efficient companies in the food and beverage market.
Gotcha. Well, that's a good reason. I like it. All right.
All right,
I'm not buying, but yeah.
that's what I got. Oh, GE Aerospace, 1,000 times. We've
Yeah.
talked about that already.
Yep.
They've got a
Strong,
backlog. They've got a
strong
back,
company.
yeah,
Strong sales.
strong balance sheet. By the way, GE Vernova now has an investment grade rating.
Yeah.
Like a year ago, they were losing money.
Right? It's not like a small Cincinnati-based podcast called that it or anything.
I know. And GE Aerospace has a backlog exceeding $150 billion. You've got exposure to commercial airliners, exposure to the defense sector, which I think is going to continue to grow.
There you go.
$150 billion in backlog and a backlog, $149 billion from the commercial aviation segment, $18 billion from defense. So
Nice. Is that all you got?
that's all I got.
Good. All right, good. Now that the argument is over, let's get into some actual meat and potatoes here, shall we?
I gave you meat and potatoes.
All right, your crypto watch from Dave. I always cover some crypto news. I got some crypto news. There's a Bitcoin mining company, Mara Holdings, ticker symbol MARA. I'm pretty much going to read most of this article. It's a very short article here. They're launching a fresh $2 billion stock offering. They're mainly going to use it to buy more Bitcoin. They're sticking to their hold strategy. They filed with the SEC saying that they were going to do it at the market ATM equity program at the market with a group of investment banks. That includes Barclays, BMO Capital Markets, BTIG, Cantor Fitzgerald, and others. They mainly, like I said, they're going to use it to buy Bitcoin. They previously had an ATM offering targeted up to 1.5 billion. The miner now holds 46,376 Bitcoin in its treasury, making it the second largest Bitcoin stash among publicly traded companies behind MicroStrategy's 506,137 Bitcoin, which is a ton of Bitcoin. Um, the plan to buy more Bitcoin in the open market was adopted by the miner last year. The industry has become challenging after last year's halving cut the mining rewards in half. So it squeezed profit margins on the back of rising costs. Not all Bitcoin miners were able to move their operations overseas to cheaper countries. Some have moved to South America, some have moved to Africa. However, Mara Holdings has not been able to move and make it cost effective to move. So instead, they went ahead and did stock offerings to buy more Bitcoin in hopes that Bitcoin will continue moving higher, is their plan and strategy. Their whole
Two-edged sword.
strategy is based on it moving up higher.
Two-edged sword.
Huh?
Two-edged sword. You're
Yeah,
diluting your
yeah.
shareholders, but then at the same time, if it goes up, you make a little bit of money. It's
Yeah. So here's my thing. I covered this a couple months back. I said I'm not looking at miners anymore. I quit looking at miners. I
Oh,
quit
thank
looking at.
God, Dave. I was about to have to call the feds on you.
Wow. Let's. Uh, I don't even know where to go for that. Bitcoin crypto miners are no longer on my watch list, and and there's a reason why is the cost. And I said I'm took them off the watch list. I don't believe that they're going to be able to be sustainable in their operations unless they move overseas, and even then, it's only a number more years to the next halving event, and then it will be even more unsustainable as well. So, I recommended at that time to divest from the miners and invest directly into Bitcoin itself. If you believe in the cryptocurrency like I do, I own some. Um, I believe Solana is a great investment personally. Ethereum is a good investment, and we won't even talk about the cousin that we don't mention on the show. So, there
Sorry,
you go.
Mark.
That is the Bitcoin news. The Bitcoin crypto miners are not looking well. And that is kind of why you see on TikTok and all these other social medias, hey, you could become an at-home crypto miner right now. It's because, yeah, it's a field that is dwindling down and not making the money.
Okay.
Uh, Thoughts on crypto, Brandon, with that new crypto update? I
It's,
know you're like, I don't even look at crypto. I bring
uh,
you all the news on crypto, and I kind of give you, I've told you pretty much everything. What do you think about the latest news?
if I was going to do anything with cryptocurrency, I'd just buy the cryptocurrency. It'd just be easier. I
Yep.
just buy the Bitcoin or the Ethereum.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. All right, moving on. We're going to look at Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. Two different things going on here, right? First things first, Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk had a clinical trial going on, and it was with with this drug. I'm going to try to pronounce it here: Ribelsis, and it basically is their semaglutide that is an oral version. It's a pill semaglutide, right? So they did this clinical trial here. It was a phase 3B trial, and what they found out was that there was a 14% reduction in risk of major adverse cardiovascular events. So think like non-fatal myocardial infarction, non-fatal stroke, heart attacks, different things like that. So they had this, they did it against a placebo pill, and it was a 14% reduction just in that. Had nothing to do with weight loss, diabetes, nothing else. They were looking
Is
at
this stage?
cardiovascular health.
Is this
Huh?
stage one? Or
No,
are they?
stage three.
Oh, nice.
Stage
Okay.
three. So I'm going to get into what that means, and what this has means for Novo Nordisk. So
You know what? You know what it means to me? I can
what's
keep
that?
smoking cigarettes.
You should think about this, and I've tried to get you to do this semi-glutide for yourself. I know you've worked on weight loss and you have some medical issues. This might be a good thing for you. Now, people have been prescribing it for type 2 diabetes, for obesity. There's been a number of different things that you can prescribe it for. However, there are some things you can't prescribe it for. So you have to get FDA proven or the European Medical Board proven in order to prescribe things for and have insurance cover it. Otherwise, you can use it off label, but you pay the full price, which is why people have been moved to compounding versus actually just getting the prescription they need, right? And that was the whole push for compounding, is that it was cheaper, more available for people and individuals. However, now that this clinical three trial has said this, Novo Nordisk has sought through the European Medical Board first, because they are a Danish company. They went to the European Medical Board first, and they're going to look to have this be prescribed solely for cardiovascular people with cardiovascular disease of some way, shape, or form. This will now be a insured prescribed drug for them shortly. They put in their what is it, the oh man, application. They put I'm drawing a blank. I can't think for right now. They put in their application for it, and everybody across the board believes that this is going to get approved, fast tracked, no problem. And the fact that this is a pill now, a semi-glutide pill from Novo Nordisk that is getting fast tracked for approval in some of these areas, is a huge sign and a boon to the company. It's going to be great because now you don't need to do a shot. Everywhere in America, people are doing these shots, these weight loss shots. This is now a pill you can take instead of a shot, and it's going to have all kinds of positive side effects for it. Brandon, thoughts?
Wonder what their R&D percentage of cash is, like what their expenditure on R&D is.
Well, when I covered Novo Nordisk for the first time over a year ago, a year and a half ago, so let's say 15, 16 months ago, I talked about how the company was making so much money, they threw a concert for the whole country of Denmark. So, do I think they have enough R&D cash to cover this on hand without taking any loans out? Yes.
Yeah.
They paid cash for building new manufacturing plants with cash. They paid cash for building distribution networks globally with cash. I think Novo Nordisk is going to be just fine as far as like what their R&D is as a percentage of the company revenue. I don't know off the top of my hand, but I could get that to you very quickly.
Yeah, so now you've got me interested. Because Ozempic, right? Like it was a big deal. It was game changing in the
Well, this is
pharmaceutical.
the same thing, just in a pill form, and it has great other side
Right.
effects, if you
Right,
will.
but now that Ozempic and the GLP-1 is now available for other companies to copy, essentially,
Yeah.
and it's available on the generic markets, now it's time, it was time for them to come out with something new. They couldn't have been a one-trick pony. But now what you're saying, this new pill, it's going to be theirs, for a little bit until it goes back onto the generic market, and they get some time to do some R&D to come up with something else. So now they're proving they're not going to be a one-trick pony.
Well, this pill is semaglutide. It is the weight loss pill, but when they made it into a pill version, it had these side effects that they didn't see coming, such as this cardiovascular benefit.
Right.
So it can be approved for treating cardiovascular.
Which I was just actually reading a medical journal about this earlier today.
Yeah, I was reading about it yesterday. I was talking about it. I had my daughter over here and I was helping her with her taxes of all things. And she is going to school to be a neurologist. So I was reading about the Novo Nordisk study and the clinical three trials and, trying to, talking about it briefly because she's a medical student. So she enjoys this type of thing. And, enjoy talking about Novo Nordisk since I own the company right now. Um, yeah, it's going to be a good move for Novo Nordisk. I see it maybe moving back into positive for me. Right now, I'm down a little bit, but this will be good news for it.
I mean, I was very skeptical over Ozempic for a very long time.
Yeah, you were very
But
skeptical.
but it turns out that it was a game changer. But I would recommend that everybody be skeptical about almost all of your stocks, even the stuff that you wind up buying. Be skeptical and then, make it prove you right.
All right,
And,
so let's move
the
into the. Go
only
ahead.
thing is, I mean, I missed out on Ozempic. And I miss out on a lot of the big gainers early, right? Like I didn't buy Amazon in 2005. That wouldn't have been me. That wouldn't have been my thing. But I've also missed out on a lot of duds too. So,
Yep. Yep. All right. Here we go. Lilly. Ugh. Eli Lilly. Here we go. They have a different drug out. And this is the headline is, and I'm going to read into this article a little bit more and cover some more about this. But experimental Lilly drug cuts genetic heart disease risk factor by 94%. It does not cut heart disease by 94%, a risk factor of heart disease. So let me get into this. The highest dose of a experimental drug developed by Eli Lilly is reducing the genetically inherited risk factor for heart disease in a mid-stage trial. This is not a third stage trial. This is a mid-stage trial. They presented their findings. The drug lepodisirin. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. Lepodisirin. It reduces levels of lipoproteins, basically cholesterol, by an average of 93.4% versus a placebo over 6 months after one single dose of the 400 milligram dose. Basically, you build up to the 400 milligram dose. You build up over time. You start with a very low dose, and I believe it is. I'm scrolling down to try to find where the dose is, and oh yes, I'm in the wrong article. Here it is. Different article, same thing. Let's just go down to the next one. Um, Here it is. You start with a 16 milligram dose, then a 96 milligram dose, and eventually you get up to the 400 milligram dose. And once you hit that, you have the 94% effective rate. So this is the effect to help reduce cholesterol in humans. They're saying we have a cholesterol problem that's putting at a higher risk of cardiovascular events such as heart attacks and strokes. Um, Currently, there is no approved cholesterol lowering therapy specifically for this genetic factor. So this will be the first drug of its kind. Um, that was from Stephen Nissen, Chief Academic Officer of Heart, Vascular, and Thoracic Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. That was a quote from him saying that. He's saying these significant and sustained lipo reductions are encouraging and suggest that the siRNA approaches like lepodisirin could potentially offer durable benefit with long-term dosing. So, in the article, you go on to read about 20% of Americans have high levels of this protein and their risk, which increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Elevated levels can double or even triple the risk of a heart attack that are associated with this. This therapy is designed to go ahead and bring those down and bring down cholesterol levels in everyday human beings. Brandon, I don't think I need to go into details. I have them up, but do you have any quick thoughts before I make a decision to go into these details or not? But first thoughts.
no.
Okay. One in five Americans apparently have extremely high levels of cholesterol, and now this is like the doctor from Cleveland Clinic said. This is the first drug of its kind to directly attack and treat this. And so this would be huge for Lilly if it can get to actual approval and go through stage three. The It was a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled phase two study. It was designed to investigate the efficacy and safety of the drug in adults with high levels of cholesterol. A total of 320 participants were randomized to receive either the placebo or one of three doses of it. So that's how the study was done. Um, and it was broken up. So it went in through the from concentration day of 60 to 180, and great results all around. I think this is going to be a good news for Eli Lilly. I don't currently own it at this moment, but looking attractive, but I'm concerned about it dropping back down in price. So I might just add this to my watch list and keep a close eye on it. And it's just because I'm invested heavily in Novo Nordisk right now. Well, not heavily. I'm invested in Novo Nordisk. I would say equal weight Novo Nordisk, not heavy
Okay.
like I was last time. Last time I was very overweight Novo Nordisk. This one's very equal weight, so not as much, but still invested. But Eli Lilly might be in my bullseye here soon if they keep this up. You're not gonna? Are you gonna invest in a pharmaceutical, Brandon?
I'm thinking about Novo Nordisk.
Okay. It is Novo Nordisk is beaten up pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what.
down a little bit of money in it right now, but I believe in the company and I believe it's going to come back just because they have a strong cash position and there's no shortage of demand and the new rulings on it that these compounding companies have to stop. I think it's always in the favor that they're going to rebound. I don't think they're going to get back up to 130 again, but they're going to go up from where they're at now.
Even just 3 days ago, I was heavily against Novo Nordisk, and then I read a American Journal of Medicine, and then I was thinking about everything you've said about it too on this podcast, and now I'm thinking about buying into it.
There you go. All right. Last one. This is not an investment story. It's just going to be a quick 2, 3 minutes. It's about companies and it's just David. This is David talking to our listeners. And it's about putting your DNA and everything out there, man. Very famous company, 23andMe. Everybody's heard of this company, right? 23andMe just recently, back on March 24th, announced that they are going bankrupt. The very next day, the website had a 526% increase from one day prior of people logging on requesting that their information be deleted and taken off the website right after they declared bankruptcy. Here's the dilemma that 23andMe and the American regulation government, whoever is in charge of this, has all this DNA, all this information that people put on their ancestry, cousins, brothers, sisters, everybody that share DNA, what their DNA was, where they lived, where they're from, how to track them. All this information is now in the hands of a company that is bankrupt and probably going to be sold off. But to who? Who gets to buy it? Who gets to own the information? And how do they get to use it? Because with a new company comes a new agreement between the users and the company, and things can be amended, things can be changed. This presents a dilemma we have never seen before in American retail. Um, there's a lot of things here. Attorneys are going on here. A professor of law from William and Mary Law School thinks that it was the right move to go on there and remove your data immediately. Um, the government is currently taking an active role in counseling consumers in this. The California Attorney General's office is urging Californians to delete their data from the website and request deleting. The military has consistently told its members to not take part at all from the beginning of 23andMe, citing of all the possible ways that cyber criminals could get a hold of this information. Um, it's yeah, it's there's just too many negative things here that this is going out and what's going to happen. I don't even think that now with all this news and all these regulators and attorneys getting involved that they're even going to find anyone to buy it.
Uh, the Blackstone Group owns Ancestry.com,
Oh, well there you go.
so maybe that's who that would be my top pick for a buyer of this.
So when the market opens tomorrow and 23andMe drops like a rock, because it will, are you buying? Is this even publicly traded? I didn't even check.
No, well, Blackstone is,
But it's
but
23andMe.
I don't know.
I'm checking right now. But if it was, would you buy it off the drop?
No, because you have no idea what's going to happen yet. So what I would do, let everybody else,
Oh
buy and
yeah, it
sell.
is publicly traded, FYI.
Whatever they're going to do, let everybody else buy and sell. Wait for an announcement. Wait for the smoke and mirrors to clear up, and then wait for a buyer. And then once the buy is announced, then people are going to jump into it. Let all that happen too. And then if it comes out that somebody's going to buy this for a price that gives you, after all that's happened, 5 to 6%, between where the stock price lands and where it's going to be bought for, and you're not thinking that there's going to be any government, blocking of the buy, then you get it.
Yeah. Well, you ready, Brandon?
Yeah.
All right, I looked this up here. This is pretty much. I'm looking at if you were to take UVXY and look at it over a course of 25 years, and you know how that chart looks.
Yeah.
This is how 23andMe looks for the
Really?
last 5, 6 years.
Really?
This is a horrible, horrible looking chart. Just like, oh my goodness. It is currently traded at, are you ready?
Yeah.
61 cents a share. It's
Whew.
probably going to drop even more come tomorrow morning. This may go to a dime here soon.
Yeah. It probably will.
Wow. This is going to be bought cheap if BlackRock, because they own Ancestry. If they buy this, they could get it real cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why not?
that's crazy. You just got to be careful, man. You never know when the company's going to go bankrupt and all that stuff's out there.
Ancestry.com already has their own DNA testing. So, I mean, they just get more data.
There you go. And yeah, more data. Yeah, you could do all kinds of stuff with.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, it is that time of the show. We want to know what your final thought is.
Dave, you got to
Wrong,
try.
you're wrong.
Everybody needs to have Dunkin' Donuts iced blueberry coffee and then
No,
tell Dave what they think.
it's too much sugar. Ooh. Coffee's
Good.
coffee.
So good.
Coffee's coffee.
So good.
Straight black coffee.
What are my final thoughts, Dave? I'm not prepared for this segment again.
You know it's coming
Whatever.
every show. Why don't you
Every
go?
shit. Yeah, you know what? Whatever. Just whatever. It's your turn now.
All right,
What
whatever
are
it
your
is.
final thoughts?
Here's my final thoughts, man. Yes, I told everybody about Bitcoin crypto miners before. Not a fan. Moved on. Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin's going back above 100 eventually. So don't think about making, buying it now and selling it in a month and making all that money. It just eventually it was going to go back up. That's the way. That's the way it's going to work. Uh, I do like Novo Nordisk. I do own it. I currently own it. I am currently down on it, but I like it. Google. I own Google. I believe that one is going good. In fact, of my chart from Friday, when I'm looking at my watch list right now, everything is red on this watch list except for three things. Cooler is green. UVXY is green,
Yeah, of course.
and then ExxonMobil is green. So because of Trump's drill baby drill policy has all these oil permits and leases got bought up that the government was selling extremely fast,
You know
and
what?
they were bought up very fast.
You know what? Be a little bit more diversified. Let's add them to my stock picks for this week too.
Who, ExxonMobil?
ExxonMobil. I think that would be a spectacular pick right now.
Is it because of the current administration's policies and the leases that just got sold?
Yeah, it's that, and it's also that they've got a pretty good balance sheet as well. So,
I've owned them before, and I've made a few percentage points off them many times. So
yeah,
solid company. I always thought so. But
we do have recession. Oil prices are probably going to come down, but it is what it is.
there
I
you
think
go.
ExxonMobil is a good company to own for the long term right now.
All right. All right. Well, we thank you for listening. Please hit the subscribe button. Tell your friends and family about us, just not Brandon. And follow us on all social media. Make DM us, send us comments, let us know how you feel. As always, we hope we have been entertaining,
I don't. Look,
educational, and uplifting.
I, I only want positive comments.
All comments. We hope
Yeah.
we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.